All right. Happy Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, something. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Let us know where you're tuning in from in the chats and the comments. I tell you, I got to say, I say this, I've been saying this, how grateful I am for this group, but it's just good to see your smiling faces. I mean, to see Vince Green, to see Nancy with her smiling face. Yes, yes, yes. To see so many of you really, really starts my day off great. Starts it great. So the word for today is reliable. And I've been sitting here this morning doing a little reading, doing some things, and I've also been looking into a little more about reliable, and here's what's interesting about this word. I can't help but to look at reliable and I start thinking about other people, whether they're reliable or whether they're not. And before I know it, I'm like, man, you're so judgmental. How about like point a little inflection into yourself, like a little finger back at yourself, and let's see how reliable you are, Mr. Palmer, rather than judging how reliable other people are or is. So if you look at the definition, it's consistently good in quality or performance. You're able to be trusted. And, when I look at that, that's a pretty big definition, able to be trusted. And that's where I really go. I can instantly start thinking about other people. Can they be trusted? Can they not? Can they be trusted? Can they not? And then I started thinking about this word. And I'm like, well, how about you turn it around on yourself? Can you be trusted? Because maybe we can be trusted in some things, and then maybe some things we can't be so trusted on, and so it's been an interesting word this morning, because if you look at reliability, it's able to produce a good result time after time. How much a person can be depended on. Like, are you a dependable person, or do you have to be told 2 or 3 times to do something because you're just stubborn, right? And you're going to do it when you want to do it. And I went to thinking about the word commitment alongside reliable. And commitment, one of the things, there's a quote out there that says, staying loyal to what you said you were going to do long after the mood you set it in has left you. I relate to this a lot on a run. I get started on my 5K and the mood, it leaves me. I'm excited about it. I get there and then I take off and I'm like, okay, this mood of excitement has left me quick. My legs feel like they're 100 pounds apiece. But you got to keep moving. I've been putting in level up a lot here lately, is just putting one foot in front of the next, one foot in front of the next. I'm going to worry about today. There's a lot I want to change in my life, a lot. And one of the things is I can't worry about other people when I want to change myself. Here's what I can worry about. I can worry about today. So I've tried to decide I'm going to be selfish and be reliable to myself and just worry about me. Can't worry about other people. And, for me, I've got to look at myself and go, I'm going to watch the tongue in my shoes, not the tongue in my mouth, because I'm a sly guy. Like, I can talk myself out of my things. I can rationalize. I can talk about how good I am in my mind. Like, I can make myself so good, but yet there's so many flaws in me. But if I'm reliable to myself and I go, you know what, I'm going to focus on me. I'm going to focus on today. I'm going to go focus on watching the tongue in my shoes and my action steps rather than the tongue in my mouth that can talk me in and out of things, because I'm sly. How many of you can feel that? I mean, maybe you don't have to raise your hand, but and then I'll leave you with this. because I believe people value reliable things. I think we all do. In fact, every day, here's some things we value. A reliable car. Thank goodness that it'll crank and get us to where we go. And when we press on the brake, it actually stops. We value reliable mail. Like when we want things on time, like we buy something, we want it on time, right? Or in a timely manner. We value reliable investments. If I give up my hard-earned money, I would like a return, right? I don't want to get back less than what I invested, right? We value reliable cell phones. Like when I make a call to Vince Green, I would like for it to go through. Now I feel like our cell phone services is getting worse and worse. Well, I don't know. Like we can do all this crazy stuff in outer space, but somehow our cell phone service is getting worse. Reliable airlines. We value that. Like who gets stuck on a tarmac and is like, oh my goodness, right? So we value when we get somewhere on time with airlines. We value reliable restaurants. I want my food in a timely manner. I want it to be good. I want it to be warm. And we value reliable friends, people that do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it. But at the end of the day, and I'm going to leave you with this. And as I looked at the word reliable, I said, if I value all these things, do I hold myself accountable to these same reliable standards? Like, does the world around me go, man, I value Brent because of his reliability and the fact that he's reliable. And so anyway, Andrea, it's a good word for me today. I'll turn it to you.
Well, this was a good one for me. And I think you're probably one of the most reliable people. So you've been here for 500 days, I think, if nothing else, right? So I'm just so grateful for the reliability of this community. I love our coaches that you guys are here. I love our community that just show up so consistently. Like it makes it so connecting. But before I start, I realized that we missed a birthday. So happy birthday, Melinda. You are one of the most reliable, consistent attendees, always cheerful. So thank you for being on here.
We did. Melinda, happy birthday. We love you, lady.
We need Myra for the birthdays. Like one of us has to go on Facebook and look up birthdays because Myra is so great at that and I am horrible at that. So I'm going to get better. I will be more reliable at that. So the quotes that I found on reliable is don't be reliable only when it's convenient. And I can be so guilty of that. Like I am so consistent, so reliable when it's easy for me, right? Like can anybody, don't raise your hand, but if anybody can relate to that, maybe like send me a private message on here so I don't feel so bad. But the most attractive thing anyone can do is exactly what they say they were going to do. And to me, that just feels so, so true. So since reliability is so important in our relationship, our business, success, with our car, it's an important question that we can ask ourselves is how reliable am I? And even if we feel like we're pretty reliable folk, it can never hurt to improve. So I'm going to talk today about some simple and somewhat obvious ways that can also be a little bit difficult that we can be more reliable. So the first one is if you make a commitment, stick to it. Now, that sounds so obvious, but I think, well, you might not all have the same issue, but sometimes I can be a people pleaser and I will commit to something that every cell in my body is saying no. We're saying this is not going to work for my family. This isn't going to work for my work. This isn't going to work for my life. But Will asked me, and so I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to commit. But then at the last minute, there's a good chance that I'm not going to be able to make it happen. So, we have to fulfill our commitments in order to be reliable. So make sure that when you make a commitment that you really, really mean it and that you can absolutely follow through. Next, be honest. So being truthful, that's a key component to us being a reliable human. And the more honest we are with other people, the more trustworthy and reliable we will be. And even when it's hard, right? Like sometimes it can be hard to be honest with somebody. maybe we have to say something that they're going to hate, right? Now, this doesn't mean brutally honest. If somebody doesn't look great in their pants, if they ask you, you can possibly say, maybe there's a better choice for you. You don't have to be brutal about it, but just be honest. And then next, always be ready to help other people. So if you see someone in need, fill it, right? If you see a need, see if you can fill it and have the mentality to improve. So if we're working every single day to improve ourselves, gain more knowledge, improve our skills, well, then we have the ability to be reliable. We just talked about this the other day, and Hill said he'll teach me. But if I want to be able to help people and I want people to be able to rely on me, I've got to have the skills. So don't call me right now. Don't call me until Hill teaches me about changing the oil in your car. I do not have those skill sets. I probably can't even change a tire without a good YouTube video and maybe some upper body strength, right? So I've got to improve myself so that I can be more reliable to everybody else, so that I can help more. And then lastly, be present. So have you ever, and I don't know if anybody can relate to this, I know that I've been on both sides of this conversation, but have you ever been in a conversation with somebody where you really need to talk to them, like you really need their input and their support, and they are not present? Like, has anybody been either side of that? I know I have. Like, I'm probably the worst with my kids, where they're sitting there chit-chatting in my ear and I'm like typing away on my keyboard, you know, I'm doing something else. And what I try to remind myself, especially with kids, if I won't listen to the nonsense, then they're not going to talk to me when it's important, right? So I've got to listen on both sides. But in the moment, we have to really fight to be present. So if you're talking to somebody and it's an important conversation, and not every conversation will be, but sometimes we will know, right? Like we can feel it. It's one that we need to be present for, you know, do the things to help you focus. So take off your watch, right? Like we have these beautiful, I remember when I first got this watch and I really thought it helped me be more present, because I could flip my phone over and I could just glance at my watch and I'd say, oh, that's not an important call, or oh, that's not an important text. But then it can kind of take over, right? Where you're glancing the whole conversation, you're constantly having your attention pulled away. So if it's an important conversation, take off that watch, flip over your phone or turn it off, have eyeball to eyeball and focus on that person so that they know that they can rely on you to listen. So that's what I had today. I was a little chatty, but this was a good one for me. Thanks for the reminder, Coach.
No, great lesson, guys. We love you. We appreciate you. Melinda, especially happy birthday, or happy belated birthday. Hope it was an amazing day, and we'll see you back on Thursday. Grateful for you. See you, Nancy.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to